children, given the right opportunity, will succeed simply by accommodating the learning needs of the child.
It just, to me, it means love. Like, everybody loves each other, everybody has love for each other. And I guess that's what it means to me.
At Hope Hall, every one of our children really believes that they matter, that they're important, that they have a purpose, that they can make a difference, that they're called by God to be leaders, that our world, our civic community, our nation needs them as leaders, that they are people who are called to make a difference.
I love it here. So I'm planning to stay here for a long time.
I never really had a lot of friends, but like right here at this school, I feel like comfortable. I feel myself. I feel safe. I feel like I could do anything.
My daughter, Alexandra, goes to Hope Hall, and we're very, very pleased with the school. And for years leading up to her before she went to school, we were always concerned about her delay in her speech, her delay in her integrating with other children and communicating even with us.
Even in preschool, she struggled through preschool. Kindergarten and first grade were also struggles, and then she got to second grade, and in second grade she was just meeting lots of failure, and so we knew we needed to look for a different placement for her, a different school.
The children who come to Hope Hall are children who have a neurological condition called central auditory processing delay. It's something that they're born with. It's something that they'll have all their life.
It's very frightening when your child doesn't pick things up the way it's normally taught in a classroom. And when you experience failure after failure and you're encountering teachers that don't really understand your child, and you start to feel defeated, and at the same time you just keep going and keep going, knowing there has to be something out there.
With children with learning disabilities, a parent has to be on game all the time because it affects how brothers and sisters interact with the children. It affects what kind of situation is created at homework time. So all of that is something we need to minister to while we're ministering to the child. We have to minister to the entire family. If we've got hopeless parents, we're not going to be able to raise hope-filled children.
Before we put her into Hope Hall, we had gone to different schools in our local school community. We visited 4 or 5 different schools that had programs that they said were supposedly to help children of her disabilities. So we went, we visited, and we came home and just shook our heads and said, she's going to Hope Hall.
In most schools, a child with an auditory processing delay who needs an entirely different approach to learning isn't given that approach. At most, they're given speech and language services, maybe 30 minutes a week. So a speech teacher will work with that child on their expressive language or their receptive language. And that's like treating cancer with a Band-Aid. They still have to go back into their classrooms. They still have to deal with the traditional method of teaching. They still have to deal with class sizes of 20 to 25 to 30. They still have to deal with every student in their class, every other child in their class is learning one way. They need to learn a different way, and they're not learning that way, so they're still at the bottom of the class.
I am Joshua's grandmother, and I am his adopted mother. Josh and I travel 1.5 hours every day to attend school here at Hope Hall. Once we get to Hope Hall, the security of knowing that Joshua is actually learning makes everything worthwhile. When Josh was in the special ed program in the public school system, he did not have science, he did not have social studies, he was functioning 2 years below level in math, and never given a chance to come up to level, just being pushed along. When he came here, he now has social studies, he has science, and his math is remedial, and his math teacher actually thinks that he will pass Math Regents.
Before I came to Hope Hall, I went to Marshall, and in there I failing all my classes, really. And then I had switched to Hope Hall in about, let's say, the second month of the school year. And then when I got my report card, I was passing all my classes with like high 90s.
At Hope Hall, I like that the teachers, they'll take their time and they'll explain things to you, and if you don't understand it, they'll give up their own personal time to go over it with you.
I can say with great confidence that no matter what their specific disability is, they are mastering the core curriculum that New York State puts out for all of its children. They are not getting by with 65s and 70s, and they're learning life skills and social skills as well, and they are learning how to advocate for themselves for what they need.
One of the big reasons that I enjoy teaching here and why I, get along well with the students, I enjoy the strong sense of togetherness that the students, the faculty, the staff, all are very committed and working towards a common goal, and that's, student success.
What I like about Hope Hall is that all the teachers are very respectful towards the kids, and they show all the kids the same amount of respect as we would them. They treat us as an equal, and they actually care about how we actually succeed in life.
One big thing I've seen is how each of the students care for one another. They could be the most neediest child in the world, but they're right there to help somebody else.
Sometimes during my free time, I would go to different classrooms and help out little kids with their reading. I'm actually kind of like a role model to some little kids.
A community that cares for one another.
We start every day with a community meeting. It's sacred space for us. This is where I talk to the kids about moral development and character development. This is where we pray. We have Muslim children, we have Jewish children, we have Christian children. And I verbalize the prayer, and anybody who wants to be counted in says amen. The word community is not just something that's a word at Hope Hall. It's an action, it's a lived experience, it's the relationships that we have. And that's the very heart of Hope Hall. I see every child at Hope Hall as someone who's a spiritual being, not just some entity. And we tap into that spiritual part, and we help them to see that they have a spiritual connection, that they matter just because. That God has a wonderful plan for them, that God has a purpose for them, and that our job at Hope Hall is to help them know what that purpose is and get ready for it.
We brought our son Ron. here at Hope Hall in the beginning of 5th grade. He had some anxiety issues, delayed processing, and he also had ADHD.
Since I was little, I knew I was different than anybody else. Everybody else could pick up things. Everybody else could talk the way that I couldn't really speak my mind. Or basically, I couldn't really get my point across. Teachers wouldn't call on me in the public schools or things because the kids would laugh. Like I said before, I knew I was different. I basically started going to Hope Hall in 5th grade. I realized that people had the same difficulties I had. So nobody could really laugh at each other. We all taught each other how to really adapt to our disabilities.
A learning disability is not something you put on when you get on the school bus and you take off when you get off the school bus. It's pervasive. So those learning challenges affect the family life too.
Hope Hall has helped me communicate with my son for the simple fact that I had to look for visual cues. I have to actually study, watch his body language. So I had to actually read between the lines to be able to communicate with him.
Seeing some of these children come in, in 3rd grade and go all the way through and then know that they can succeed. Even some of them can be mainstreamed into their own school districts, but just to hear and see that they have accomplished all that they have accomplished, it's just an unbelievable feeling.
With the new Regents requirements, our children that are in high school now have to pass Regents courses. They are struggling. That's why we're adding on grades 10, 11, and 12. We believe that given the right opportunities, all students can learn well. Our students can stay here with the same strategies that have been successful for them, and they can earn a high school diploma and go on to college or to the world of work.
Because of the fact now she'll be able to go from 9th all the way through 12th grade and graduate from high school, from the same school, it's an enormous stress relief off of our backs. And it's also a fact that we know that when she finishes high school, she'll have a good education and she'll be able to do whatever she chooses to do. And if she wants to go on to college or whatever she wants to become, it's totally up to her.
Life in general is very easy for me now. I am getting recommendations to go places from the cities because of my grades.
I think for my future, I want to be able to help people, to give back to the community the way they give back to me.
Hope Hall has been a blessing to me and to my family, to Robert. I would like every child in the world with a disability or without a disability to go to Hope Hall.
I'm happy to say that my son Ron has graduated with a Regents diploma, and he will be attending Attleboro University in their veterinarian program.
I'm going to be a doctor and I'm proud of it.